I've studied both in Ireland as well as in India. I did my undergraduate computer science from Pune University, Wadia College basically. And then I came here in 2022 for my master's in business analytics from University of Galway. So I have lived both lives from India as well as Ireland because I'm here since 3 years, and hence in this video I will be comparing few aspects: academics, cost of living, jobs, lifestyle, finances, both in India as well as Ireland, and I'll share my opinion over the years, what I think about both the nations. So if this is something you are interested in, watch the video until the end. And if you're new here, I am Tanmay, a full-time data analyst and a part-time YouTuber living in Ireland since 2022. First, let's talk about academics. Back in India, I studied from an English medium school as well as I did my undergraduate, as I said, from Pune University. But let's be honest, I think the education system is broken, because even studying from an English medium school, I was not confident in speaking in English until very recently. Usually the atmosphere, everything is just preparing us to score good in the exam. That's it. There's no practical knowledge. It's all theory based. It's all for the grades, and it's all for the end goal, which is the end final exam, which we usually write and just score in that, and that's it. Even for my engineering, it was all theory based. I did computer science engineering. I mean, come on. Practical is highly important. There were practicals, but everyone knows the truth about practicals assignments. You usually copy from someone or download a repository from GitHub and submit it. So I feel it's broken in the sense where you're not provided with practical knowledge. It's all theoretical, and second, you have to write down an exam and you're just working towards scoring good in that particular exam. That's it. Secondly, the faculties have so much power. They can either make or break your career, not with the knowledge they provide, but the power, the authority they have. They can either fail you, they have the power if there is some misbehavior or something like that, and if you're not in their good books, then they hold the power to fail you for that particular semester, irrespective how good you are with the exams, how good you are with submitting your assignments. So that's so much, and it reflects in their behavior. So that ego or the power they hold is insane, and there have been a lot of cases where things have went really bad and the students can't help about it because they just have so much power. On the flip side, my experience over here was more on the practical based approach. So I remember we had to develop an application, like I had this subject called C#, it's a programming language in the first semester, and the professor gave us a case study, told us, okay, this is the case study document, and now you have to go and build the application throughout the semester. We had no written exam for that particular subject, which is like, okay, that's how it should be, because it's a programming language. Our programming skills were tested through assignments. And it's not the case that you will study hard just before the exam and you'll pass. No, the exam carry bare minimum weightage. It's like 20% or even 10% of the entire course. So the entire weightage, which is 70-80% weightage, goes towards assignments. So you're forced into learning or tricked into learning. If you don't understand the subject well, since it's assignment based approach, you have to learn about the subject, you have to prepare yourself, and you have to be active the entire semester. As I said, it's not the case where you study in the end for the exam and that's it, because the exams carry the least weightage. And secondly, professors do have the power to fail you, but it's not, you don't necessarily have to be in their good books. If you're submitting the assignment on time, if you're giving your exams with good conduct, then there's no issue at all. And the other thing is plagiarism. You can't copy anyone's assignment. It's your own work. So you are forced into learning. You can't just be like, okay, hey, can you help me? Help is different and copying straight away is different. So here I was forced to learn a particular subject. And since I came as a fresher, it was way different compared to what it was, because I came from, okay, I'll study this few 10 important questions or 10 commonly asked questions and I'll just pass. Where here it was, I have to study and write the business case study. I have to write my opinion. I have to write an essay telling about how I came to this conclusion which is very important. And that's how the grading system for the assignments work. So you would be graded for every single assignment, and the accumulative of that would be then your final grade. So you had to be active throughout the course. Second is cost of living. Of course, it's pretty much expensive here, so almost 60-70% of my income goes towards paying rent, electricity bill, everything. And if you're in India comparatively, then probably you can get by living with your parents. You don't have to pay a rent or something. And in few cities you can just be okay with earning 5,000, 10,000, or even 15, 20. I mean, it completely depends on your lifestyle. So back in the days when I was studying, I used to get like 500,000 rupees, and that was okay. That was actually enough for me, because I mean, I used to travel by bus for the first year, and then second year when I started going by bike, 500 for the petrol, and then remaining 1,000 for just, eating out and stuff like that. So I had to be mindful, but I think it was not that expensive. Here I have to manage everything within 1,000 euros, which is a lot per month, and 60-70% of it goes towards the rent itself. And to add on that, it's not even entirely your house. It's basically you are living with your flatmates or roommates, and then you'll have a common sharing area or a common shared washroom. So in my case, it's like I'm sharing the house with 4 other people, and we have a common washroom and common kitchen. So it's pretty much normal here. But again, as we are comparing, so that's it, that's out there. To give you a gist of my daily expenses, it would be groceries costs around 200 euros a month, then electricity around 90-100 euros for 2 months, and internet would be 16-17 euros. Phone bills will be 10-15 euros depending on the provider, but I mean, it's still expensive. So if you compare to India, then of course you can get a really good high internet speed thanks to Ambani for 500 rupees, or like even less. Next is about jobs. So there are 2 types of job, part-time and full-time. First of all, I would like to touch base upon one thing, which is the way we look upon jobs. So imagine we coming from a middle class family and someone telling their parents, I would be working in KFC along with my engineering degree. Literally everyone will look down upon us, will like, क्या कर रहा है? McD में काम करेगा, KFC में काम करेगा. Seriously? But here it's respected. Doesn't matter. Most of the restaurant, most of the shopping malls, shopping centers, McDonald's, KFCs, you'll find students who are doing part-time, and it's okay. Everyone is treated equally. But the attitude in India is way different. It's like, I don't know, there are some low grade people doing some low grade job. I don't know why it is, but it's there. Whereas here you will be treated with the same respect as someone who is doing investment banking. Doesn't matter, like, because everyone has gone through the same cycle. Everyone is doing the part-time to pay their bills, to maintain a certain lifestyle with their education. So it's completely normal. And second is full-time. Getting a full-time is difficult here as well as in India, as a fresher, as an experienced. But I think I would give brownie points for India, because there you don't need visa. You are not in a weird visa situation where the company needs to sponsor you. You have the Indian citizenship. So, I mean, there's no issue with that. Here it gets slightly trickier because the companies need to sponsor you, and with the EU regulation and everything, the company need to show that they did enough efforts to hire someone from the EU region. So I would say it is slightly easier to get a job in India compared to here. But I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's difficult, even part-time, full-time, and now with a lot of students coming here in 2025, 2024, there's usually a cycle where the people coming for the new cohort take the part-time job, and the people who graduated from the previous cohort will go on and take the full-time job. But because the job market was slightly low last year, and with the visa situation, everything, the people who were doing part-time have converted that part-time into a full-time, are still working at restaurants, and the next batch which has arrived is still struggling to find part-time, and now the batch which is currently here is still struggling to find the full-time. So there's like a slack of a good amount of people, and hence it's becoming really difficult. But with that said, you can still find a job. I have made videos upon it. You can watch here my story about finding a part-time, full-time. To summarize, I think it will be much more easier to get a job in India compared to here. There are opportunities in India as well. It's not the case that there are no opportunities. A lot of startups are booming, and if you play the cards right, then you will still get. That's another debate about the work-life balance and the working culture. That I would say this is much better, because after 9 to 5, no one will really bother you. On weekends, you are late free. No one will care if, unless you are working on a very high important project, and you will be compensated in terms of leaves or in terms of extra off hours, something like that, or you can be compensated in terms of money. Where on the flip side, in India, as I said before, for the part-time as well as for the full-time, there are some founders or companies where they don't respect your time or your effort, so it's more trickier there. And with the traffic and everything, there isn't any clear work-life balance, I would say. I mean, that's the reality. Next is about lifestyle. The lifestyle in India is pretty convenient because you have helpers, you have cooks, you can like order from Swiggy, you can order from Swiggy and or Zomato, Zepto. There are multiple things, like basically everything is on your smartphone. So the convenience is pretty much easier compared to here. I mean, there are apps over here as well, similar apps, not same, but similar apps, but it's slightly expensive, and the cost of living is slightly expensive compared to what we have in India. As I said, like, let's compare 50,000-60,000 rupees, if I convert, would be your rent for the particular one single room. But if you compare it in India, unless you are staying in Mumbai and in a very high location, or in Bangalore, like, you can still live in a really good flat for 20,000-25,000 rupees, which is like 250 euros or something like that. But here, first, you won't get something that cheap. And second, if you are paying 500-600, you'll have to share your space with someone else. So that's one downside of it. Second is travel. The public transport, the buses, the city links from one city, that commutes from one city to another, is really great. It's really comfortable. The travel is really convenient here too. Even the intercity and intercity travel is really convenient. The buses are frequent, on time. Trains, it's slightly cheaper for the students because everything here is designed in a way where it is cheaper for students, and it's very accessible, and it's also accessible for the general public as well. Then you have insurances which cover most of your like physiotherapy visits or your dental visits or eye checkup, and if you're paying tax, then you can also claim back your rent rebate if you're sending money for support in home. If you are working from home, then you also get some compensation for heating and for electricity bills. So that's really convenient, and you're also paying 40% tax, but whatever tax you're paying, you get top-notch service for that. But on the flip side, if you are paying the same tax, which more or less you are like 35 to 40% in India, but still the services are not at that level. Like, let's take example for Mumbai locals, or they're always overcrowded, there are some mishaps happening. So I mean, even for the public buses or things like that, so it's not really convenient, or you're not getting the services compared to the amount of tax you're paying. So I think on that sense, the lifestyle here is pretty much chill. It's quiet, silent, and people do have civic sense, which I think it's missing somewhere in India. Everyone is like entitled, or even the crab mentality. If you're growing, then they'll try to bring you down. Here, I've observed one thing, that people really support you in either or in every aspect of your life. They'll try to help you. They'll try to make you feel better. I'll give one of the example. My colleague literally pushed me for an interview, and I cracked the interview, but it was because of him. He supported me a lot throughout the process to preparation. Like, he sat with me for 2-3 hours and made sure that I was prepared for the interview. I think you'll find similar people in India as well, but the majority, I don't think, would be doing it from the bottom of their heart, is what I feel. So civic sense, lack of civic sense, crab mentality is still there, but here it's much more better. And since the lifestyle is on the higher end, the cost of living is also on the higher end, so don't forget that. Which brings me to the last point, which is finances. So as I said, you can still live a really decent life in India on a 30k salary. But if you are here, then if you are earning around 300-400 euros, that's just your rent. And that won't even cover your rent. It will be like 500-600 euros. then to come here, maybe if you're taking a student loan for your education, then that would be really difficult with that, living with that mental pressure, and then you have to save something while you're doing part-time. But once you get full-time, I think the rules and regulations with the minimum base pay are really great here. So you get compensated really well, and if you do it smartly, you can pay off your loan easily. So there is an initial 2 to 3 years of struggle, but after that it will be manageable in terms of finances. But still, if you compare, then if you plan smartly, then you can do a lot of savings here compared to India, is what I feel. And these all are my opinions, my personal experiences. And also there's one more benefit, which is basically you're earning in euros and the currency exchange rate, so it's like 100 rupees approximately, so that's great as well. So if you're investing even 100 euros, that would be a lot compared to Indian salary, so that's another plus. I hope this made sense. And again, as I said, these are my personal opinions, so if you think you have some counter opinion, then feel free to drop it in the comment section, and it will help me understand your point of view, and then we can have a chat maybe in the comment section. And if you're confused about taking that leap of faith to move abroad, then I have this video where I've talked about multiple aspects which you should consider before moving here, and then decide for yourself. So go check it out and see you in that one. Bye.